This is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and I'm going to remake the last video because I know the majority of what I said went over everybody's head, because you have to have watched my channels, you'd have to know this, there, or the other, and you have to have quite a bit of knowledge to keep up with that. I make a lot of videos just to be funny, because a lot of the people here, you have team members, you have military, you have government, you have this, that, or the other, and they know this shit up one side and down the other, and sometimes we just get to make videos just to be funny. And if you haven't been around for a long time and seen my videos that are like that, that's fine. But here's what I have done to my pack, and this is for the straight-laced crew and the uneducated crew and the people that just don't know shit. Or the people that just like the information because they haven't gotten it before, and you know, you're in there too, but the majority of us, we live, breathe, eat, die this shit, so fuck it. But here we go. Here's what I took out of my pack. I took out the solar panel, I took out the Nomad 13, which I don't like. I wouldn't recommend that nowadays, and this one. They work for me, but that's because I can work with anything. I went to think about it, and I said, you know, the only time I ever use that thing is, I hate to say it, for my kids or for something this, that, or the other when we're out and somebody loses power, somebody does this or somebody does that, or da-da-da-da-da. They've got a smaller one on the system that it's not from Fail Zero or Goal Zero. I wouldn't buy anything else from them, but they've got some really good packages out there that have the ability, and they're more up-to-date technology to deal with you know, higher outputs through the USB. When these were designed, you know, how many amps did you need coming out of a real USB port? How many USB ports did you need? The newer ones they've got out, and I don't know who makes them, don't really care. It's a 14 watt panel. This is only a 13 and has two USB connectors and the ability for smart output and this, there, the other things this doesn't have, because this thing was designed back in the day of Methuselah, and they haven't updated it or come out with any you know, better technology, because they're getting the Chinese to make these things. The people out in Utah are getting the Chinese to make these things by the crate, you know, by the big tractor trailer load full, man, because they're one of those big old things, man, and they're going to get it done. But anyway, taking that thing out of the pack takes out, let's just balance it, 37 ounces, it's hovering right there, which is 2.3 pounds. So 2.3 pounds out of the pack, that's water or food. And why the hell would you really need something like this in a pack anyway? That's just for survival or this, there, or the other. There have been very few circumstances that I really needed electricity out in the field, except for just lighting and some other stuff. Basic communications, but you know what? I have phones for that. And you know, this phone will run for days and days and days, and this is a Galaxy 5 active. Of course, we've got the Galaxy 6 actives now, this, there, or the other, no removable back, no SIM card, this, there, or the other, but have 32 gigs of power, where this one only has 15 of storage. Also took out my favorite pocket knife, which is a Benchmade Osborne 930 or whatever the hell it is, da-da-da-da-da. And this is 3.9, I think 3.9 ounces, and it's a really good, no, 2.9 ounces. It's a really good knife. But if anybody who watched the other video knows my pack, I keep it very lightweight. I like to keep it around 15 pounds. I was getting a little fat with this, and since I deal with very high-speed environments, if you carry extra shit like this, like carry a pocket knife you don't need, or carry some solar panels you don't need, or this, there, or the other, and I'm hunting you, you're gone. Well, I can shoot from a really long distance. Yeah. Sure. You can't shoot something can't see, and it's moving so fast when you can't really understand speed, because you're gauging everything off your motions. when you have a bunch of extra gear like this in your pack, you're pregnant. You got pregnant cow disease, or fat man syndrome, or whatever else. This pack's 15 pounds, and it will do anything, this, that, or the other, for multiple people. Now, everybody knows I got rid of the solar. Of course, Gore-Tex always goes in. Gloves, hat, some type of physical shelter, you know, right there. This particular pack has a Moore's pot in it, and has a clean canteen with a Pathfinder School canteen cup, and it also has that fish mouth spreader that goes in here and makes these into pots with a handle. We're still at 15 pounds, even with all of this, even with the Moore's pot, even with you know, 6-inch big fire steel, and a lot of other things. It's also got extra tinder for case it's wet outside. Of course, that's from Pathfinder also. But the deal of it is, what's really important in this whole kit is this knife has replaced my Mora Bushcraft Black, and also my Osborne 940. Why did I do that? Because this thing's about 9.5 ounces, and it's a really good knife. It's the same size as the Mora Bushcraft Black. This one's made out of 5150. It's the made by Buck. It's the 245. Says M Leathers on it, and has a triple tap, or 3 holes, because that was his signature. Matt was lost in a deep sea, just trials, testing, training, whatever. They call it the Matt Will Go knife. And of course he was in Bud's class 245. He made it out of parts out of a Humvee. Buck made it out of 5150, I think. Yeah. And Lyndon Micarta, they custom did for this, like, because he took his micarta, I think, out of some piece of gear or something. And then it's got a skull crusher basically on the back, which is, some people might call that a non-lethal, but I hate to sit there and argue that would be pretty lethal. It's 4.5-inch blade, full tank construction, screwed on handles, Kydex sheath with that there tech lock, and this is full Berry compliance, which means it is made in the United States. Of that there America, man. So what I did, since I took out the 5.5 ounce and then the 3 ounce, basically came out, I only gained 1 ounce in the pack. Then I took out that 2.3 pound, that's not 2 pounds 3 ounces, that's 2.3 pounds solar panel, because I hate to sit there and say this, if you really need power that much in a survival situation, you honestly probably needed to learn just a little bit more before you got in that situation. And I'll show you basically what I've done and what I always did do, but I tried to use somebody else's setup, and I tried to do this, that, or the other, but I think there's so many people out there that have never been out in the field, never done any of that crap, that basically put their dick suckers in the equation. And you know, it sounds good because when you're sitting on your couch or you're doing any of this shit, you know, you need that there power, man. And you want to sit there on your phone, you want to cruise the internet. So in your bug out bag, that there power type situation, or when your survival kit or your get home bag, that power seems necessary. Trust me, carry that 2-something pounds instead of carrying 2-something pounds of food or water. And of course my pack's very light on food because I have 5 granola bars in it, because there's usually 5 people in my car. As far as power goes, I've got 4 lithium batteries. These lithium batteries will take a tremendous beating. I've got lithium batteries in my Surefire AA thing. I went to AA's because everybody's doing that conventionally, and because it's just a common battery type. Do I think that's necessary? Will I probably go back to CR123s? Yeah, because my whole premise behind it was having some type of solar setup. But what kind of comms gear, what are you doing where you want to carry 2.3 pounds, not 2 pounds 3 ounces, of some solar shit unless you're out making videos? And if you're out making videos, or you're out doing any of that shit, or you're in some fantasy land watching TV type scenario, you know, you're not in a real survival setting. This Surefire flashlight has 2 brightness levels. It has a low and it has a high. Under low, it will last a very long time and still put out sufficient light. And it goes to low first because it is not a tactical setup. This is the Outdoorsman Series E2L AA. So, since we're not Rambutt out there trying to take on the man, and we're not Mad Max out there trying to do whatever, and we're not in any of these situations, and we're putting these pacts together to be law-abiding citizens who get out in these situations. But if you're one of these people that believes that the government is that tyrannical and coming after you, and you need to have something to try and compete with the government, then they have a body bag for you. Because what you don't understand is the fact that you try to go up against the U.S. government by force or by any other means other than your vote, getting involved in politics, getting involved in local government, getting involved in your community, you're screwed. But if, let's say, something happens, an EMP, or this, or that, or I can come up with a lot of different things, earthquake, or because I live near the New Madron Fault, or you know, you have a hurricane that comes in, or you have any of these things, then all of this becomes very viable and becomes very useful. And I hate to sit there and say this, we are not people in New York City, man, when the power went out, who all basically huddled around solar chargers and who huddled around extension cords coming out of people's houses and this, that, or the other, because we wanted to get our communication and we had to get our information fixed. If you have to do things like that or feel the need to do that in a setting, like I said, if I was hunting you, you'd be gone. Because you would be toast, because I have no interest in any of that stuff. I post videos on YouTube, but if anyone realizes, I'm not that active on YouTube in any way, shape, form, or fashion. Because I think that if you spend too much of your time in a virtual world, you are basically giving up your time, unless you're using it to learn something positive and something that moves you, your family, and the people around you forward. Now, I'm going to go back to making a stupid video next. I'm just giving you some warning so you can avoid it if nothing else. But this video, this is basically the situation. You know, buy your phones right. Buy phones that can last days on a charge because they have an ultra low power setting. Buy your stuff to where it works. In any situation, this Surefire light will work. Buy your things to where you can have a 15-pound pack and you can have that one knife and your knife can do it and get the job done and get it done well, because that's the point. Where'd I put that knife? Hell, I don't even know. But it is the same size as this knife. And I'll pull it out here and I'll prove it to you. The blades are within that much. A few millimeters to me isn't going to make a difference in my life. You know what I mean? And you can see I have beat the hell out of this knife lately. I haven't, of course, used the back of it because I don't really do a whole lot of batoning, don't do a lot of that type stuff. But this there, the other. The Matt will go, buck 245, great knife, great person. And like I said, I'm going back to making smart ass funny videos next because I like them. And if you like them, cool. If not, do what I always say. Get the fuck off my channel because I don't really need you here. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches, and you know, I hope your concept of what these bags are really about, and this, that, or the other, and if you weren't trying to, think you need these bags to outrun the zombie hordes of the poor when there's a famine, because there will be loss of food, and there will be mass starvation, and there will be people coming and trying to take your shit and this, that, or the other. But I hate to sit there and say this. If you have enough sense to put together a bag like this and not load it down this, that, or the other, and da da da, you are a million miles ahead of everyone else. And, you know, train with it, get good with it, and, you know, you're prepared. A prepared person is always a million times faster, better, stronger, more capable than one that's not. Don't get fat, because if you get fat, you have no earthly idea what people will do to you in the real world when things get really bad. I've seen it happen too many times. This is Guns, Knives, and Watches. Have a good one.